Welcome back to The New Health, and back with us today is Dr. Heather Gessling. She's a family physician working direct primary care in Missouri. Welcome back, Dr. Gessling. We're so happy you're here again.
Oh, thanks. I love being with you.
This is so much fun. I love that we speak so much of the same language and we're very passionate about the same topics. So I think we're going to get a lot of interest moving out there in the world. So last week we spoke about GLP-1s, medications for weight loss, the pros and the cons. And we had mentioned just a little bit about seed oils. And we had a question or two come back from our audience about seed oils. So why don't we talk a little bit about seed oils and these oils that aren't very helpful for us and that can be inflammatory?
Yeah, let's do because a lot of people don't know the dangerous inflammatory effects of seed oils. Another name is vegetable oils. These are things like soybean oil, corn oil, canola oil, even safflower and sunflower oil, grapeseed oil. So the mainstream media or food industrial complex, they have touted canola oil as heart healthy. They've named them vegetable oil, which makes them sound healthy. Really, they're industrial oils. They are this sludge that gets formed, and then they have to go through this chemical process to purify it and make it clear again. It's a disgusting process. There's nothing natural about them. They are the opposite of what you want to be ingesting. The uh, the education about heart disease has been, I think, completely wrong. The patients that, have a heart attack or stroke, their nutritional advice that they're given in the hospital is to just start eating seed oils such as canola because it's heart healthy, which is atrocious and astounding, and it's a lie. It's wrong. Patients should be eating real foods, real fats, real oils, not be afraid of healthy saturated fat because it's the kind that is non-inflammatory. It does not contribute to heart disease. Heart disease happens from inflammatory molecules like sugar, high fructose corn syrup, and seed oils. And so getting rid of those things is what can reduce your risk of heart disease. Adding in real foods such as butter, red meat, coconut oil, avocado oil, extra virgin olive oil, those are the things that can reduce inflammation in your system, which would then lead to reduced cardiovascular inflammation and plaque formation.
Oh, this is great information. So I do want to say a lot of people listening are probably saying, but wait a minute, my canola oil has that little heart healthy stamp on the label. And so why am I going to believe you? I'm not believing the label on our canola oil, but this is truly an inflammatory oil. And I know when we talk about saturated fat, unsaturated fat, when you're talking about saturated fat like butter and you're talking about meat, and you're talking about real foods to eat, how are we speaking to our patients about them, having them understand that those really are healthy?
Yeah. So, what I try and do is just use common sense and help them realize what's real. What did God create for us to eat? Do you think that He wants to replace His real product with a chemical, detergent laden, disgusting oil that was made in a factory? It just makes no sense. And this whole concept of saturated fat being the devil, or even elevated cholesterol, LDL cholesterol specifically, being the cause of heart disease, is just not based in science. I think that there is a heck of a lot of propaganda that has been pushed out through the sugar industry, through medical societies, through pharmaceutical companies that have utilized this lie about LDL cholesterol and saturated fat to make us even more unhealthy. I think that their agenda is to do the opposite of what they state. It's made us it's made us completely unhealthy. Our weight has increased, cardiovascular disease has increased, diabetes have increased by people following that advice. When you get back down to the basics and you remove sugar, you remove these inflammatory oils, you remove the toxic food that is so common in the grocery store, your health returns, you reverse the disease, you lose weight, you feel energetic again, you start glowing again, your skin clears up. And so I would say that if you've heard it in the mainstream media, it's you probably should be doing the opposite.
So where do we direct people? Everyone is reading conflicting information. So how do we help people? And that's part of my purpose and drive also, especially on the new health, is getting the real evidence-based information out there. So how do we give people the right resources so that they can learn about these inflammatory drivers of heart disease and other inflammatory aspects in our body?
Yeah, there's several books that have been written, and also you can just start getting good at, if it's a mainstream media source, it's probably wrong. You can start going to alternative sources that are going to be more likely to tell you the truth. There's a book called the LDL Myth, I think, is one of the main books. You can just start researching inflammatory effects of seed oils. You can start looking at true causes of heart disease. I like to encourage my patients to just start being ready to be skeptical and dive in to things like never before and start questioning everything. Even if what I'm telling you, you should go do your own research and question it. I don't want people to take anything at face value anymore. Also, things change, and so we learn new things, and we learn new things because people are continuously questioning and researching, which is so important. And I would just, like I said earlier, get back to the basics and realize that real food, real fat, real protein, not all of this processed stuff with chemicals and sugar and high fructose corn syrup and seed oils is the way to be with your diet.
Oh, this is great. So let's do a little deep dive now. All of our people are saying, okay, opening their pantry after listening to Dr. Gessling today. Where do I start? What would we have them remove if you were pick 3 to 5 things that we're going to remove and replace? Let's help people overhaul their kitchens today.
Oh, let's do. So I would say if it has a list of more than 4 ingredients, it's probably no good. If it's a protein powder that has um, 30 ingredients, I would say that needs to go. If it's got sugar listed, that needs to go. High fructose corn syrup, that needs to go. And then, like we've talked about on this segment, all of the seed oils and those, or another name is vegetable oils. So soybean oil, which is in literally like 80 to 90% of what's in the middle part of the grocery store. It's in everything. It needs to go. And when you go and buy mayonnaise, and the main brand of mayonnaise has on there that it's avocado oil mayonnaise or olive oil mayonnaise, don't believe it. Turn it around. The first ingredient is probably soybean oil. So that next ingredient that you got to check is the seed oils, the vegetable oils. It's going to be in probably I have looked at every single salad dressing that's in the grocery store in the main section, not the organic section. I have looked at every brand. Every single salad dressing has soybean oil, maybe canola oil as its first and second ingredient. It's incredible. So get rid of the seed oils, and you'll be on your way to good health.
So when we're removing our seed oils, so getting rid of our canola oil, our vegetable oil, soybean oil, and now what are we replacing it with? Olive oil, avocado oil? Tell
Yeah,
us what we should
olive
be
oil,
putting in its
avocado
place.
oil. Yeah, so when I talk to my patients about this, they say, "Oh, well, I don't cook with that. I use avocado oil, or I use olive oil, or I use butter." And I'm like, "That's fantastic." But go look at what's in your refrigerator. Go look at
Mm-hmm.
what's in your pantry, and you'll realize that so much of your food has those seed oils in them. And I think that there needs to be a revolution, people standing up and saying, I'm not buying these products anymore that have these inflammatory oils in them. Or asking at the restaurant, are you using real butter to cook with? Or are you giving me margarine? Or what are you cooking with back there? I think that patients need to start being their own advocates as far as standing up against these poisonous ingredients.
Yeah, and the whole grocery store theme is shop around the outside of the store, not the inside
Yep.
of the store, right? So if you're
Yeah.
that's where your fruits and vegetables are, that's where your meats are, as opposed to going to those middle rows where you can find all of those inflammatory foods, boxed foods, processed foods.
Exactly. You got it. That's exactly right.
Oh, that's wonderful. Real quick, because we're down to our last few minutes here. Yes or no for protein powder?
I just don't like it. A lot of times patients are using protein powder in the morning and they probably don't even need to be getting calories in the morning. And I'm a big fan of intermittent fasting. But protein powders have so many harmful chemicals and ingredients. And a lot of times they're either have sugar as a component or artificial sweeteners, very commonly artificial sweeteners, which are going to affect your gut health and cause some insulin dysfunction. And I just say that, if it's all ground up and it's got all of those chemicals and you're just uh, getting macro doses of a lot of that stuff, I don't think it's the right thing. It doesn't seem in my mind to be the healthy basic way of eating. Also, you're not masticating, so you're not getting those digestive juices flowing, you're not getting that digestive process going. And so a lot of times when you aren't masticating and you drink that protein shake, that gets absorbed so quickly into your bloodstream, unlike if you're chewing and it has to kind of get broken down. That rapid absorption into your bloodstream can cause some insulin chaos, that and quick insulin secretion, over secretion of insulin, because you get such a rush of that protein shake into your system, which is also problematic.
Thank you for that. I always want to know that one protein powder question. So thank you so much for coming back with us again today, Dr. Gessling. Could you please tell us a little bit about what you're doing and how people can reach you?
Yeah, so I have a direct primary care practice in Missouri. So if you're in Missouri and are interested in looking into that, my website is Gessling Family Wellness. I have two locations in Boonville and Macon. And then also I'm doing a detox project with my good friend Christian Elliott, and we're working at helping patients detoxify from multiple things. And we have our next free 2-day seminar in September. And you can find us at www.healingunited.today. You got to put in that full web address, I do believe. And then also you can find me on Twitter at @Gessling. I'm on Facebook, Heather Gessling.
Thank you so much, Dr. Gessling. Always a pleasure to have you on. Look forward to having you back next week with us. So for those of you watching, please join us next week when Dr. Gessling comes back with us again. And stay tuned after these messages for our next guest.